The future is going to be very, very different from the past. Within just a few years, artificial intelligence will exceed human intelligence. There could be as many as 1 billion humanoid robots. Sounds quite good, doesn't it? Yet it's all fabricated bollocks.
100 years ago, Nikola Tesla discovered a healing technology that threatened the entire pharmaceutical industry. The day he died, the government seized everything. For 100 years, this technology was hidden. Until now, plasma is back. Tesla Club, tzla.club.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monday's episode of Trending. As you'll see, we've got a slightly different backdrop today. Myself and Gareth are down in Wales doing some filming for the next couple of days. Got a few projects we're working on down here, which we'll share with you very soon. Now, right, let's start today. Elon Musk. Now, this man has been what should we say? A man who's divided opinion for quite a while in the alternative media, independent media. Some see him as some kind of godlike savior since he bought Twitter and allowed a few people to come back on and say a few words. Others see him for what, in my opinion, he really is, which is a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's a man who is there to try and get you to buy into concepts that you would never buy into if the person selling the concept you knew was on the other side. So he's tried to almost infiltrate the move. Well, not almost, he has infiltrated the movement to the point where people then trust what he has to say because he's one of us, which is a very, very clever tactic. And it's worked in so many areas because what it's done is it's meant people have dropped their guard. It's meant people have allowed things to go unchallenged, which they would have never done had, a Google executive, for example, been selling the same thing. So it's almost good cop, bad cop. You have these futurists over there at Google and other tech giants that are selling you dystopia and being very open about exactly what that will mean. And then you've got somebody like Musk who is trying to sell it as if it's a good thing, as if it's going to make you superhuman, as if it's going to change your life for the better. Well, it appears that a button has been pressed and that kind of softly sales pitch attitude that time has passed, and now it's time for a much more aggressive, in your face, this is the future, this is going to be amazing, that kind of sales pitch. So if we talk about this story over from the New York Post, Elon Musk drops wild 5-year prediction about AI and humanity. And just like with some of the Google executives, particularly one called Ray Kurzweil over the years, when they make predictions, those predictions are not just based on things out of thin air, these are based on inside information. So therefore, the prediction, the timeline are quite often very accurate. So Musk says we are entering an age of abundance fueled by AI that will make cash meaningless. Interesting. End of money, digital currency, almost sounds like they're connected. To quote him in a sit-down interview he did with The Economist here, the future is going to be very, very different from the past. And there's no analogy or metaphor that illustrates the magnitude of the change we are going to experience. He says he believes that within just a few years, artificial intelligence will exceed human intelligence. There could be as many as 1 billion humanoid robots. There really won't be anything, to quote him again, AI won't be able to do better than humans apart from being human, perhaps, he joked. I think AI may exceed the sum of human intelligence in around 5 years. The most likely outcome is an amazing age of abundance where anyone can have anything they can think of. This may sound preposterous, and of course there are things that might derail that, like a massive global thermonuclear war. But assuming there's not World War III, I think we're heading for an age of abundance. So this is the message of optimism and excitement about the future. As I said, positive sales pitch. This is going to be great. This is going to be incredible. You won't have to work. You won't have to do anything like this. Money will become meaningless. You can have anything you can possibly comprehend. Sounds quite good, doesn't it? Yet it's all fabricated bollocks. It's all a lie. It's all to try and get you to agree and certainly to not resist things that are fundamentally against your interests. If AI, I mean, you've only got to look at the world that we live in today. You've seen how much artificial intelligence has taken so many jobs already whether that be jobs in checkouts, whether that be jobs in businesses, automations and stuff that have just made certain jobs in organizations meaningless, and therefore people have been made redundant. People can't get new jobs because AI does so much of the work now. Are those people having an age of abundance, or are those people suffering as a result of AI? So you've literally got proof right now in the world that you are observing daily that shows you that that concept there is not true, that this is going to create an age of abundance. Because if it was, why hasn't it already? Why are we not seeing signs that this is going to be better for people? Why are we only seeing negative things when it comes to employment, when it comes to people's ability to earn a living? Now, I'm sure some business owners will be turning around saying, I've saved a bunch of money using AI. I've had record profits because I'm not having to employ as many people and so on. Yeah, that's probably true. But what about the individuals that have lost their jobs as a result of it? What are they doing now? So this whole idea that this age of abundance is going to come because AI is going to take all our jobs and do everything, and therefore people will have all this spare time and they'll be able to create all these things using AI, won't have to get out of bed in the morning. That's just not true. AI is not there to help humans. It's there to replace them. Because fundamentally, when you strip it down, what is AI? What is this artificial consciousness that is suddenly influencing literally everything we touch? Everything we touch. And who's going to be in charge of those billion robots? It's going to be AI. It's not going to be humans, is it? Now, this just sounds like we're building a giant sci-fi film into reality. It sounds so bizarre. And I think to people that are slightly older, maybe like, my generation and beyond, who remember like the early days of technology, mobile phones and smart TVs and iPhones and iPods and all of that, the speed of the change, the speed of the transformation from a society that was not based on technology. You didn't have kids on iPads and tablets before they could walk. You didn't have screen addiction centers. You didn't have social media. You didn't have any of those things. To see the transformation and the speed of it in just a couple of decades really is quite terrifying, actually, because you also then can look at the state of the world and say, in that period, has the world got better or has it got worse? Have people's quality of life improved or have they declined? Now, there's obviously lots of contributing factors to both of those answers, but technology has to be one that is considered, because one thing technology has absolutely done, well, two key things really. One, it's separated people massively more than they were previously. A lot of people literally live their lives through technology now. They live their lives through social media. They live their lives through texting and TikTok and other things. They don't actually have a human connection with people. That's a massive thing that's changed in the last couple of decades. Now, I'm not going to sit and say that there's no benefits of those things. People have connected with each other on the other side of the world that wouldn't have done before. It's brought friendships and families back together. People have met and had relationships. There's obviously the positive side of that as well. But I think the disconnection between humans is one of the fundamental reasons we're in this mess. And technology has a huge factor to play in why that's come about. And the second one we've already touched on, which is how much technology is becoming more reliant in businesses and therefore is taking more and more jobs off of people. Because if technology can do something at a fraction of the cost or a fraction of the time, then businesses and corporations are obviously going to do that rather than employ actual people. So those two things have contributed massively to the decline that we have seen. Now, I'm sure somebody that is pro-technology will sit here and argue that the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. And to a point, you are probably right in certain areas, but that's the point, to a point. At what point do you go too far where technology becomes the master rather than the servant? And I think that's the key that needs to be highlighted here. I'm not sitting here anti-technology. As I say many times when we talk about this subject, I'm sat here talking into a laptop in Wales and you can sit and watch this anywhere in the world. Technology has a place, 100% it does. Without technology, we couldn't be doing this. But as long as it is in a servant role, as long as it is in a role where humanity controls it and the line of where it becomes a negative force never gets crossed, and the person in control of it, or people in control of that line, are human beings. When technology becomes the master to the point that it dictates, to the point that it can take over, to the point that it can control and dictate to humanity, that's when we've got a big problem. And we are, in my opinion, on to just over that line right now, where a lot of people on a small scale, they, on a personal level, the technology controls them, their phone controls them. Nice. They can't put it down. As soon as they put it down, they pick it up. There's addictions to social media. Hence why, as I said earlier, there is addiction clinics for screen time and things like that. That has gone too far. That's gone to the level where that is now the master, not the servant. That's not serving you now. That's actually becoming a hindrance and damaging to you. If you're sat on your phone rather than going outside, rather than interacting with real people, rather than having real human connections, that's all of a sudden not serving you. That's doing the opposite. And I think on a larger scale, we're at the cusp now, we're at the point now where if this technology rolls out more and more and more and more, the loss of jobs, the loss of things that we've already seen, well, that's just going to exponentially grow, isn't it? And it's not going to be replaced with an age of abundance where cash is meaningless and everybody can do what they want and you know, anything they can comprehend can happen. That's not going to be the case as Musk is trying to sell. It's going to be the opposite, actually. You're going to be reliant on the system. Then all of a sudden, here comes your universal basic income. Here comes the control more and more and more in the hands of less and less and less. It's very, when you strip it back and you take out the rhetoric and you take out this sales pitch and you just look at it pragmatically in the cold light of day, it's very clear to see where they're trying to take us. Very, very clear you see where they're trying to take us. Can you name a corporation, a government, an institution of any size, of any level, that has actually produced something that's been for the benefit of humanity rather than for the benefit of itself? And all of a sudden, at a time when geopolitically the world is on a knife edge, when it comes to artificial intelligence, whether it's America, whether it's the UK, whether it's China, whether it's France, they're all on the same page. Have you noticed that? There's no infighting, there's no squabbling, there's no geopolitical games being played. They are all on the same page. And the top universities in China and the top universities in America exchange students all the time. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students on an annual basis get exchanged and swapped so they can each learn each other's sides. Now, you don't do that if this is a genuine race between two nations to try and dominate. You do that when there's one agenda that operates and runs through both of those countries and others as well. Because this is a massive part of this agenda, a massive part of the next stage of it. Because without this, without the widespread take-up of this technology and usage, and then growing that into implants in your body and connection to the cloud, and all of those things that we've discussed previously, without that, without this next stage, none of that follows happens. So this next stage is absolutely massive, massive for them. And that's why it's one of the most important, if not the most important one, that we stand firm on and we reject. And I think I'm pleasantly surprised at how many people are doing that. That so many things in life are always correct or overcorrect or go too far, and there's pushback. And I think the use of technology has gone so far in the last decade or so. There is a natural resistance to it now. There is a natural, hard reset where a lot of people are getting outside in nature. They're putting phones down. They're going back to human connections. They're having, blackouts from screen time to try, because they understand that the damage and dangers of overusage exist, and therefore they're trying to reset a little bit. So I do see a positive attitude with that, and we'll see if that continues. But this man, Mr. Musk, is obviously going to continue with this sales pitch and doing this interview with The Economist. It feels like a button's been pressed, and it's time for them to get a lot more aggressive with this sales pitch, because on this subject, it's kind of gone a bit stagnant. So I would expect them to come and try and accelerate this agenda a little bit more on this particular subject in the next few months, weeks, years, because they've got to get somewhere. We're sat here now in mid-July in 2026. Agenda 2030 is what's always been delivered as the sales pitch. That's only 3.5 years away. So things are better get moving, which means more and more things to expose, more and more things to highlight. And as with all things like this, they're going to have to make what they're doing more and more obvious, which makes those things significantly easier and hopefully alerts more people to exactly what is going on. Right, if you're watching with us on YouTube or Twitter, thank you very much for joining me. If you head over to Ickonic.com, we're going to talk about the wildfires in Europe, and we're going to talk about what happened at Berlin Pride, and then a bizarre story from Indonesia. So head over to Ickonic.com, and I'll see you there.
In 1943, the government seized Nikola Tesla's most dangerous invention, a healing technology that threatened Big Pharma's entire empire. They buried it for 100 years, but it's back, and over 1,000 people worldwide are using it right now. When you join Tesla Club, you get your own Tesla plasma device, 5 times more powerful than the original Violet Ray and built to last. You join a private Telegram group where members share breakthroughs daily. Stroke recoveries, cancer reversals, chronic pain gone in minutes. These aren't stories. These are yesterday's posts. You get lifetime support from people who've been where you are. Technical guidance, therapeutic protocols, a group that actually understands. And you get access to hundreds of documented experiments, real members, real results, real transformations. No prescriptions, no waiting for permission, no begging doctors who don't believe you. Just you, your machine, and a movement taking health sovereignty back. We're Tesla Club, private science club for self-directed healing. Visit tzla.club. Join the revolution.
Plasma.
It's back!
Don't mention the reptiles, Dave.
Even less is said about the Grey Pope, who some believe to be the true ruling power in the Vatican.
Humans emitting a MAC address.
All of them had Bluetooth signals.
I've never seen it before.
Queuing up to transition their children.
This is the ultimate suicide cult.
What if the symbols around us every day aren't just ornamental?
We lost 1,000 years of history.
What if they're instruction?
That state of awareness is not manipulatable.